two sides of a triangle must be greater than the other side. So basically, if you add PQ plus QR, it has to be greater than PR. And if you add PQ plus PR, it has to be greater than QR. And if you add QR and PR, it has to be greater than PQ. So let's see, this one's red. This one's blue. And then the other one's black. Here's why this works. If you have a triangle, right? And if I take the sides of the triangle and I fold them down, do you see how they're going to overlap? If they were the same length as the third side, or even less than the length of the third side, and I bring them back up to try to make a triangle, they can't connect. You have to be longer than the third side in order to be able to have any kind of height at all. Does that make sense? So the two sides will always have to be longer than the third side if you put the two sides together. And that's just due to the very nature that if we take this triangle and we fold it down, the sides are going to overlap. Okay. To see, okay, can these be the three sides of a triangle? You're going to take the two sides and add it up and see if it's bigger than the third side. So 8 plus 15 is greater than 17. That's okay. 8 plus 17 is going to be greater than 15, and 15 plus 17 is going to be greater than 8. So I've taken all the combinations of the two sides, and they're going to be greater than the third side. So yes, this is a triangle, or can be a triangle. On my second example, 6 plus 8 is not greater than 14, it equals 14. It can't be equal, it has to be greater. So no, this can't be a triangle. And then on my last example, if I do 2 plus 8, that's 10, that's less than 11. So no, that also can't be a triangle. If you always start with the two smallest sides and add those together, it'll eliminate the need, if one of them's a no already, that'll be the one, the two smallest sides. Because if you look at this, 8 plus 11 is greater than 2, and 2 plus 11 is greater than 8. It's just that the 2 plus 8 is not greater than 11. Does that make sense? So we'll try these out. I have 2 plus 3 greater than 4. 2 plus 4, yeah, greater than 3. Sorry, and 3 plus 4 is greater than 2. So it's on page 33, yes. So as long as each one of these is true, that it's greater, then yeah, it can be a triangle. If we look at number 2, 5 plus 7 is greater than 9. 5 plus 9 is greater than 7. 7 plus 9 greater than 5. So that's all true. So yes, we can be a triangle. If I look at like number 5, I have 9 plus 10 is less than 20. So since I get a less than, no. In the next situation, we'll have two sides. And we want to find like the range. Well, this is least possible. Let's just get rid of that for a second. And we'll just say, what is the possible, what are the possible whole number measures for the third side? So we're going to try to find the range. How many is it possible to be? So we have 3 problems to solve. If we're using algebra, and then I'll show you another method after that. So we have 3 sides, and we know one of them is 3 and one of them is 7, and we don't know what the third side is. So I'm going to call that x. Okay. And I have 3 scenarios. That's my 3 problems to solve, and that is that 3 plus 7 has to be greater than the third side. And then 3 plus the third side has to be greater than 7. And then 7 plus the third side has to be greater than 3. Those are the 3 different scenarios that we have to check, right? 2 sides greater than the third. And so we need to solve each of these. Okay, the first one, I just add them together and I get at 10. So 10 has to be greater than x. For the next one, I subtract 3 from both sides, and I get that x is greater than 4. And then here I subtract 7 from both sides, and I get that x has to be greater than negative 4. This part right here causes kind of a dilemma. We have 2 greater thans. X is greater than 4 or x is greater than negative 4. Now, any number I put in here that's greater than negative 4, so like a 3 or a 2 or a 1, will work. But that won't be true over here anymore. So like say I pick the side 3. 3 would work here because 7 plus 3 is greater than 3. But 3 doesn't work here because 3 plus 3 is not greater than 7. So we have to have numbers that will work everywhere. So we can't use this one. We can only use this one. So when you're faced with this, where you have the 2 possibilities with the x greater than, you pick the larger one. Okay, or the positive one, because one's going to be positive, one's going to be negative. And then, so this is our range of possible answers. So you can either just circle these 2 and cross out this one. Or if you want to write it more formally, 4 is going to be less than x, which is going to be less than 10. So x has to be between 4 and 10, because it's less than 10 or it's greater than 4. So any number 4.1 to 9.9 will work, anything in between. That's the range of possibilities. Okay. To solve this without using algebra, you add the 2 sides that you're given. You subtract the 2 sides that you're given. And then you put basically like that, and this is the small, and this is the large. So you can still get the same answer without the algebra. And the reason this works is because of what we just did here with the 3 different scenarios. And on these, one of these will always give you a positive, the other will always give you a negative. And you always get rid of the negative. Here? So you have the two sides of the triangle, right? The 7 and the 3. And we need to find that third side, that x. And so based off of what we were just doing, it's the same thing, except we're doing it with an x. So we have to have 3 plus 7 has to be greater than x. And then the other two sides are 3 plus x is greater than 7, or 7 plus x is greater than 3. Uh-huh. Does that help? Okay.
Let's make those equations.
Yeah. Yeah. So for these, do you think the add subtract method or the algebra method? Add subtract? Okay, so 5 plus 9 is 14. 9 minus 5 is 4. So it's going to be 4 less than x less than 14. So 7 plus 14 and 14 minus 7. That's 21 and 7. So it'll be 7 less than x less than 21. Yeah, just adding them and then subtracting them. One more. 13 plus 8, 13 minus 8. Plus 8 gives me 21, minus 8 gives me 5. So it'll be 5 less than x less than 21. Not too bad.